Sentient enterprise is an enterprise where you have achieved the singularity, where I don't need any human intervention.
You've heard of ChatGPT. You've even seen AI write emails, code, and perhaps even songs. Most people think of AI as a productivity booster. But what if AI doesn't just support your company? What if it becomes your company? Imagine your company not as a machine, but as a living thing, analyzing, deciding, acting. No breaks, no burnout, a sentient enterprise. I sat down with Professor Mohan Sawhney, who predicted this endpoint almost a decade before ChatGPT even existed. And now, OpenAI is laying out the roadmap to get there. I'm Dino Gane-Palmer. My company helps enterprise teams deploy AI. Tens of millions of dollars helping several hundred brands. Today, we're breaking down what the sentient enterprise is, OpenAI's 5 levels, the roadmap that takes us there, and spoiler alert, there's a missing piece in here that explains why enterprise adoption has been a little bit slow. And thirdly, what Professor Mohan Sawhney now says is the future beyond the sentient enterprise. In 2024, OpenAI said something wild. They want to build an AI that can run a whole company. This sounds like science fiction, but one pair of authors actually predicted this years ago, back in 2015.
So as Oliver and I started to think about this topic, we sort of did a thought experiment on what is the logical endpoint for analytics supported decision making. Where does this all go, and in some sense, what is the singularity? Literally, we sketched it out on the back of a napkin, and it occurred to us that if analytics was meant to support decision making, to make decisions smarter, better, faster, then the logical evolution would take place on 2 dimensions, which is the scope of the decisions that you are able to actually facilitate, and also the level of human intervention that would be required in the decision making. So the North Star we came up with, the ultimate vision would be
the sentient enterprise, a company that thinks, reacts, and runs like a living thing. It's like turning your company into Optimus Prime.
An enterprise that is almost like an organism. It's living, breathing, sensing, and responding. Hence the word sentient, right? So sentient is almost like an enterprise that is able to sense and respond, analyze and respond in real time, at scale. And the metaphor for the enterprise is a shift from the enterprise as machine to an enterprise as organism, sort of from a mechanical to a biological metaphor.
And now, almost a decade later, OpenAI is saying this sentient enterprise is their end goal, the end goal of their roadmap. OpenAI now has a roadmap for how AI is going to grow up. They call it the 5 levels. Level 1 is conversational AI, chatbots that mimic human conversation. This is the original ChatGPT, launched in December 2022, the viral AI chatbot that you probably use most days of the week. Level 2 is reasoners, problem solvers that are as smart as PhD researchers. In ChatGPT, these are the O series of models released in late 2024, starting with O1. Instead of answering your questions immediately, they first spend some time thinking about how to answer your question so that they can give you a much better answer. Level 3 is agents that perform tasks on your behalf. This is where we're currently at. At this level, we're giving the AI tools that it can use to answer your questions. This could be a web search tool, or a tool for searching your internal databases, or a tool for writing and running software code, and a whole lot more. With the reasoning abilities from the previous level and these tools, the vision is that AI is able to plan out actions and execute them on our behalf. Things ranging from booking travel for a trip to perhaps even automatically responding to our emails. Level 3 is what OpenAI and others today in 2025 are currently perfecting. Level 4 is innovators, where AI becomes capable of creating new inventions the world has never seen. Instead of just creating an email or software code or songs, at this level, AI ought to be able to create remarkable products humans haven't been able to crack the code on. This could be things like flying cars that actually work, or machines that can economically capture carbon from the air and reverse global warming. These are the bigger societal positives that have been long the promise of AI. And now we're getting closer than ever to getting there. Level 5 is AI that can run an entire organization, fully autonomous, sentient enterprises that can run themselves with no humans required. Sounds clean, right? But there's a missing step. Between levels 2 and 3, there's a missing step, and it's a big deal breaker. Even smart AIs can't act like humans if they don't know what your company knows. Think of it like this. You've got a robot that can cook, but you never gave it the recipe book. So it just stands there. And what is that missing recipe book? I call it enterprise expertise, a structured instruction manual of everything your company knows. Without it, even the smartest AI can't help you. It's like hiring a genius who doesn't know where the bathroom is. My book, Do More with Less, covers in extensive detail how to capture this enterprise expertise for use by AI systems. You can grab a free summary at domorewithless.now. So now, a decade after foreseeing the sentient enterprise, I asked Professor Sawhney, what do you think the future looks like a decade from today? Given that most people think the goal of AI is let's automate everything, his answer is actually quite surprising. His answer is appropriate autonomy.
The idea of appropriate autonomy is that you need to find the optimal level of human involvement in the decision based on two factors. What is the value created by autonomy relative to the cost of being wrong? So there are some decisions that are scenarios where you get a lot of value through automation because they are repeated, they are high volume, so you're saving a lot of costs, so you're getting better decisions, or in some cases better outcome like medical diagnosis. But on the other hand, some scenarios are mission critical. The cost of being wrong is very high too. Again, like medical diagnosis or life and death decisions. So we will find the levels of autonomy that work best for each scenario. This may shift over time as the algorithms get better, as the AI gets better. But I liken full autonomy or full sentient enterprise to Six Sigma, for instance. So Six Sigma is a goal. It's a North Star, but you're not going to get there. You'll get to 3 Sigma, but at least you know what the ultimate goal is. So just like zero defects remains a North Star that you will strive for, but perhaps never reach, similarly, the full autonomous enterprise is a North Star, but what we will end up with is finding appropriate levels of autonomy for the different decision scenarios in the enterprise. And that frontier will keep shifting towards greater autonomy as technology advances.
Over time, as AI gets smarter, you can trust it with more. Just like teaching a kid, first you hold their hand, then you let them walk, and then someday they might run. But even then, we might always want to still have a human in the loop.
Trust is more perception. There's a trust deficit in AI. People don't trust it. Even if software is today, autonomous vehicles are maybe 10 times or 100 times better than human judgment, but humans kill 40,000 plus people every year, drunk drivers, but if software kills even one, there's a big hue and cry. So the standards that AI has to be held to are higher than humans, and that's just the nature of the beast. So trust is a barrier, regulation is a barrier. And will regulators sign off on doctors being able to issue diagnosis without human intervention? Or lawyers signing off on contracts without human intervention? So there are perception barriers, trust barriers, regulatory barriers. So all this will take time.
That's appropriate autonomy. And it makes sense. If you checked out our last video, you'll know that AI is like a different species. Dolphins, pigs, they're smart, but we don't trust them to pay our staff or to come up with medical diagnoses because they, like AI, don't inhabit our world in the same way that humans do. I've seen this firsthand. My company builds AI systems as a done-for-you service for a few select clients every month. Even today, we're finding that you need to have what we call an expert in the loop for each use case you want to automate with AI. If you want to build one of these expert in the loop AI systems, my book, Do More with Less, is the definitive handbook for building these. I have a free summary of the book that has 90% of what you need at domorewithless.now. I encourage you to check it out if this topic interests you. We tend to think of companies as static structures, charts, roles, processes, but as AI advances, we're entering an era where enterprises behave more like living organisms, able to sense, decide, and act with less human input. Let me know in the comments what interests you most about this and all things AI so I can cover those in future episodes. And follow me on LinkedIn or subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts to keep up with more real takes on AI. Today, we learned about OpenAI's 5 levels of AI, the surprising importance of human expertise, and why chasing full autonomy can sometimes not be what society really wants. The future won't be humans versus machine. It will be humans plus machines, building enterprises that can think, adapt, and evolve. Now, if you're wondering if human plus machine means really just giving humans ChatGPT, or if even AI is a machine, check out my last episode where we answer these questions.